I have no earthly idea how I'm gonna do this one, but here we go, I guess. So I went on a long drive today trying to understand this principle. And I thought this principle was going to be one of the easiest ones. You know, it seems very self-explanatory, but for me it's not, and I'm not really sure what that says about me or says about my experiences or says about my mental fortitude or just my mental in general. Today's principle from Musashi's Dakota. This is day 4. Today's principle is: think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. This seems so simple. Really, it seems so simple. Think lightly of yourself. Like, oh, okay. Talk to yourself with grace. Like, oh, okay. Don't think that you're a piece of shit all the fucking time, you know? Like, you're gonna make mistakes, you're going to learn, you're gonna grow, and you can be proud of that and think lightly of yourself during the process of this, right? I feel like it's so much deeper than that. The same way I feel like there's something in my nose. Alright, my apologies, excuse me. But I can't, at least currently, I'm having a hard time deciphering for myself what this means. So I was reading the passage that comes with it, right? And there's a few things that stuck out. Not really, not a whole lot, because even the passage that the book has makes it seem so simple. Which makes me wonder, why can I not understand this properly in my own life? I understand thinking deeply of the world. That's the part that doesn't get, like, that's the part I understand. I don't know how to think lightly of myself. Fuck, that's a rough thing to say out loud and come to terms with. I don't know how to think lightly of myself. Maybe because I've been chasing this idea of self-improvement for so long that I'm constantly reworking, constantly like breaking down, constantly trying to rebuild. Maybe I'm too hard on myself. Maybe I'm not hard enough. No. Think lightly. So maybe I am too hard on myself. I must admit, these last 4 or 5 days especially, I've been dealing with a lot, and I've been saying a lot of horrible things to myself. Like, horrible things. Like, I had truly believed, like, I was evil. You know, I truly believed that shit. Like, I was speaking with one person, and they said, I don't know if you were sent to me from God to teach me a lesson, or if you were sent from the devil. And that stung. To even think that that's a thought process made me think, holy shit, I'm evil. And then I talked about it in a previous episode where I had received that text, and it was like, if you ever like just leave someone's life and don't say anything, like, someone would most likely harm themselves if you did that to them, so don't do that again, like, kind of thing. And I'm like, holy shit, am I evil? I try to do everything I can out of kindness and out of the best intentions that I can muster, so much so that I will self-sacrifice, and I'll what's it called? I will kind of run myself into the dirt. Like, if I run myself into an early grave, pushing for someone else to be their full selves and like to chase happiness and chase their own peace and stuff like that. But when I feel like my time to go is my time to go, and then I leave, and it's like, no, like, you left, you abandoned, you did it. And I was like, I didn't abandon anybody. But from their point of view, I did, and I tore myself asunder because of that. I always have. I've always been hard on myself. I can't remember a time that I wasn't, and so maybe I've done that for so long that thinking lightly of myself is something I struggle with immensely. I don't know how to do it. I have no idea. Maybe that's something I have to learn. But that's a thing as well of, I don't know where that even starts. Because I don't think it's as simple as, yeah, say nice things about yourself, you know? Don't be like, oh, God, like, I look ugly today. Don't be like, oh, damn, I fucked this up pretty badly. Like, I'm such a piece of shit. I'm this, I'm that. Like, I don't think it's as simple as that. I think it's mental as well, where the thoughts that I have about myself when things happen are never kind. They're never with any form of grace. They're never with any form of understanding for myself. I have no issues understanding other people. Like, all right, cool. You don't even have to explain why you did what you did. I will forgive and understand. But it comes to myself, and why do I treat other people on this planet differently than I treat myself? The passage in the book that said a few things that I thought might help me with this this philosophy today, or this principle today, was, so the principle is, think lightly of yourself but deeply of the world. And it's a very Buddhist philosophy if you think about it, or principle if you think about it, which makes sense. But nevertheless, something that I do want to read from this book is, it says, where is it? Musashi's words call for empathy and an awareness of how our decisions touch those around us. The same spirit underlies the Japanese value of wa, social harmony, which shows up in simple behaviors like tidying a public space for the next person. At a time when self-promotion often dominates, his urging to downplay our own importance while fully engaging with the wider world still resonates today. Oh, I found it. This is the thing that I thought might help me. So, we don't occupy the universe's center. We are a part of a much larger whole. Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. You do not occupy the universe's center. We're a part of a much larger whole. Maybe that's it. You know, I like to think that I had an ego death a long time ago when I first started this this healing journey back in college, and I definitely did. You know, I didn't really think anything of myself, but so maybe I went to the extreme with it, and I'm facing the repercussions of going to that extreme end now, and I'm trying to do this again, but in a healthier way as I've gotten older and understand more about the world, and at the same time know nothing about the world. Maybe I've been unknowingly putting myself as the center of the universe. But I don't think that I've done that in a everyone pay attention to me, I'm the most important thing in this universe. It hasn't been like that. I don't have an ego in that sense. But I think I have a part of me that believes that I matter more in the grand scheme of things than I actually do. Maybe that's why I'm constantly beating myself up, constantly searching for growth, constantly trying to figure out, how do I become a better person? Because for a lot of my life, I've always asked that question, and what I'm starting to realize now is I haven't been asking that question for myself. It hasn't been a, how do I become a better person, one that I'm happy with? No, it's how can I change who I am to become a better person, or like, so that I can help other people, so I can be a better person for this person, so I can be a better person for this person. How can I change myself to the point where I am the perfect person? Not just for one person, not just for two, for everybody. How can I change myself into something perfect? And that's impossible. I love drinking tea. My nickname is Tea. And not everybody likes tea. Some people think it's dirt water. I still can't fathom that shit, but some people think it's dirt water, right? So maybe my need for human connection, human understanding, and my psychological traumas, maybe those instilled this feeling of, if I'm not constantly trying to improve, no one will ever love or connect with me. Like, oh, I did this wrong. Okay, why did I do that wrong? Let's deconstruct it. Let's rebuild. But I'm not rebuilding for myself. I'm only rebuilding that one thing to make other people's lives better, to make that specific person's life better. Like, for example, the same person that sent me the text with those messages a few episodes ago, they took issue with the fact that I do not need to talk to someone every day. I'm not that person. I have never been that person. The person that's probably the closest to me is my sister. And my sister and I have known each other for 16 years. We have gone 2-3 years without speaking to each other more than maybe twice in that entire time. My best friends, I might talk to them once every 6 months. I'm trying to talk to them more, especially now that I'm going through this metamorphosis, and sometimes it's really difficult to be alone, you know? But I'm not a person. I've never been a person that needs to speak to someone every day. And this was a huge point of contention for that prior friendship. They had their needs, I had my needs. It is so exhausting for me to talk to someone every day and think, oh, I have to have something to talk about. Damn, what on earth do I have to talk about? If I don't have anything to talk about, especially the more comfortable I am with you, you know I'm a silent guy. I'm a silent man. I observe, I listen to music, I chill, and I'm just a quiet man at my core. And sometimes I worry about that, you know? Sometimes I worry like, damn, maybe I'm too quiet. maybe I'm too this, maybe I'm too that. And so I don't think I've ever thought lightly of myself. I've never sat down with myself and said, you know, Tamari, you are quiet. And that's okay. You know, I've never sat down and be like, you know, you don't have to always have something to say. You choose your words so carefully already, but the more that you use these words, the less value they have in your head anyway. That's why you choose them so carefully. You don't reuse compliments. You call one person beautiful. You call one person gorgeous. One person gets stunning. One person gets tantalizing. Like, you're so deliberate with how you show your love. And yet, you spend so much time changing yourself for everybody else. I think it's okay to be a quiet person. I spent most of my life not really having good relationships with people, you know, like meeting people. It's been rough. Making connections with people has also been rough. And then I'd move whenever I have connections with people, and then I'd never see those people again. So, oh, I accidentally stopped my recording. That was bad. But anyway, so fuck, where was I? I've always had a struggle with connections with people and being like, oh, I don't know who to be with these people. You know, when you move as a military kid, right? You move so often, and you know that you're never going to see these people again a day in your life. You change who you are fundamentally every time you move. At least that was my experience. Like, there's, like, deep down, you know, I am a certain way. Like, I am a certain person. I'm a quiet guy. I love anime. I love video games. I love storytelling. But I'm also an athletic guy. Like, I love playing basketball. I played football quite a bit growing up as well. The only thing I wasn't really into was soccer. But in baseball, I love being in the field. I'm not a batter. You know, so baseball was, but you move. And if at one school I was the nerd and I was bullied for being the nerd, and I was pushed in lockers, and I got in fights, and I was on trial, like, because of the fights, or like whatever, like, if that was the life that I had at one school, and then you move and you create a different version of yourself. Maybe I'm not outwardly a nerd, so I don't possibly get bullied. Maybe I'm more reserved. Maybe I'm a pacifist because I don't want to fight anymore. Maybe I'll allow people to walk all over me to avoid any potential conflicts. So then you become a people pleaser at that school. Then you move again, and it's like, who am I going to become at this school? I don't know. Haven't decided yet. Next thing you know, you're in the library and you're picking up a book and you're just reading it because you're trying to decide on a book, and then someone sees you and is like, oh, are you a Buddhist? And it's like, what are you talking about? And then you realize the book you're holding is a book about Buddhism. So then that's who you become. But you don't know anything about Buddhism. You don't know shit about Buddhism. But it's like, oh, that could be cool. At this school, I could be a Buddhist. I could just learn about Buddhism and be like, yeah, I'm like learning about it and stuff like that, and give people wise wisdoms from books that I've read or like whatever. And it's like, at some point the facade will have to drop, And as you get older and you stop moving as much, and I've still moved pretty consistently, but like as you stop moving as much, because you know I want to have a family one day, I want to be in one place one day, you know, and everything like that. The same way I want to van life, like desperately, but it's a story for another time. I feel like the facade has to drop. Hell, I've been living under the facades from youth for so long that I have two different voices. Yes, I have two different voices. If you've ever tuned into a stream or anything like that, you'll see like I have an entertainment voice and then I have my actual voice. The entertainment one is a lot more fun, it's a lot more happy and stuff like that. It's the one that even my own parents like would recognize me under, because my real one is lower. I'm calmer. I don't really raise inflections all that much, and I'm quiet, and that means depression. And you get tired of being told you sound depressed when you, honest to God, are just being yourself. So your voice changes. Your life changes, and I guess I never really knew who I was after so long of living like that. Maybe that's what thinking lightly of yourself actually means, is not just give yourself grace and give yourself forgiveness, but maybe it means to stop putting yourself at the center of the universe. Stop making yourself more important than you are in the grand scheme. You're a part of the grand scheme. You have intrinsic value. You have all of these things. But you do not have to bear the burden of changing who you are fundamentally to fit into other people's lives. You do not need to change who you are fundamentally to fit in the scheme of the universe. You do not need to change who you are fundamentally for God to love you. Think deeply of the world, but keep your essence light. Keep your essence arid. Keep your essence true. I've said a lot of horrible things to myself these last few days. That I'm evil, that I'm a piece of shit, that everything that's transpiring in my life is all of my fault. If the words that I spoke about myself were tattoos, I would look like a ghoul. Truly, I would look like a ghoul, because I'm either saying something negative about myself or I'm not saying anything at all. I've been dismantling the walls that were up to protect me. And there's been a lot of hope shining through. But also a lot of vulnerability has been shining through. Which comes with, hello, this wave of fear. Because being vulnerable is like the scariest shit in the fucking world. Like, oh, I'm gonna give you the power to absolutely devastate me, like to kill me of heartbreak, to shatter my entire realm of reality. That's scary. But even being vulnerable with yourself, I think, is the exact same fear. So the principles that we have so far are: accept everything just the way it is. Do not seek pleasure for its own sake. Yesterday's what was yesterday? What's principle 3? Hold on. Accept everything just the way it is. Do not seek pleasure for its own sake. I don't remember. Oh, be sure of your decisions. A half-hearted commitment is worse than none. So, accept everything just the way it is. This is something I keep coming back to, honestly, and I think I'll always come back to it. Like, this will be a constant reminder when things happen, when things go wrong, you know, whatever. I have to just be like, okay, this is the way it is. It's not what my brain thinks it is. Like, whatever. Just give it its time, give it its space, and let it exist as it is. There's nothing I can do about that. I'm just a piece of the universe. What is meant to happen will happen. That's what I'm trying to learn and stick with each day. Do not seek pleasure for its own sake. We've established, for me, that's more so, at least for me right now, that's more so a question of stop asking questions that people can't give you answers to. Just accept where you are right now and allow yourself to be here right now. Don't let your brain go and show you different realities that are not the reality that you're in. Number 3, be sure of your decisions. Don't make half-hearted decisions. If it's not something you want to say hell yes to, it's probably something that you should say no to. Maybe that's the way I have to look at that. If it's not something I want to say hell yes to, it's probably something I should say no to. Okay. And then today, think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. Remember that you are not the center of the universe. You won't even be the center of a person's universe, and they could be your soulmate, they could be your person. You will not be the center of their universe, and that is important. So drop the ego, drop the facade. Don't change who you fundamentally are in order to fit into the mind of someone else. Don't make yourself small because others think small. Just because someone thinks small does not mean that you need to shrink yourself. Maybe thinking lightly of yourself is an action more than just thoughts. Maybe it's an action. You know, like, drop the facade, be who you are, and don't change who you are to fit into someone else's life. Do not change who you are unless you want to, unless you have a value and a purpose for changing who you are. I'm on this journey changing who I am, or discovering who I am, because I'm miserable as the person that I was, and I've changed a lot in these last 5 days. I've changed a lot. I'm not the same man I was at the start of July. I'm not the same man I was in June. I'm not the same man that I was 4 days ago. I'm not that man. I'm not that man that was on that ledge. I'm not that kid that held his friend in his arms as she passed. I'm not who I've been conditioned to be. I'm not a loud talker. I'm not an over talker. I'm an overthinker. I'm an over observer. I take forever to pick gifts for people because I try to think about what they truly would want, and I harp over the most fine details about them. It's like, oh, the statue that I want to get this person because I know they love figures, the statue that I want to get them, this very specific figure that I want to get them, everything's perfect on it except the face is slightly off, but it's the best one that I can find. I won't buy that one because I know that the face being off will kill them. I take that kind of care with everything. And so maybe I need to take that kind of care with myself. Thinking lightly of myself as an action, not just a general thought experiment. Think lightly of yourself, for me, means to choose to stay soft. No matter how hard the world is, no matter what the world pushes you to do and pushes you to be, stay soft. I'm gonna do my best to try and do that. I'm not gonna say negative things about myself anymore. I am simply just a man. I'm learning, I'm growing. This is my first time around the sun. I'm gonna make mistakes. But I am not my mistakes. I will never be solely my mistakes. Who am I under everything that I've been created to be? I'm quiet, I'm shy, I'm kind, I'm courteous, I'm observant to a fault. I've been trying to be less observant over the years, especially with how I overthink, so I am an overthinker, but I'm also an over-explainer. Some people were like, yeah, you're a yapper. I'm like, no, I don't think so. I don't talk all that much. So when I do talk, I talk. But if someone else overthinks, I will over-explain exactly how I'm feeling and stuff like that. I'll do it for 3 hours if it takes it, if that's what it takes. So you know what's something that I still kind of think? I still don't really believe that I'm an on-screen personality. You know, like I'm very much so still I'm behind the camera. I'm in the writer's room. Whatever. Like I'm that person. And I used to think that was because I thought low of myself, like physically. I was like, oh, I'm not attractive enough to be in front of the camera. But it's like, no, because deep down, who I am a quiet man. I don't want all eyes to be on me. I don't really want people to remember me after everything. And I know how that sounds, like, yo, what the fuck, but like, no, like, I want to to tell my stories. I want my stories to help people get through things in their lives. And if it helps someone, that's all I need. I don't need to be well known. I don't need to be this massive personality and stuff. I just want to make films, tell my stories. I want to do poetry reading nights with, you know, small groups of people, or just people in general. Just be like, hey, we're having a poetry night, you know, and that's it. It's like, yeah, we're having a poetry night. We're gonna light incense, we're gonna light candles, whatever, and we're just gonna listen to poetry, or we're gonna read poetry online, like whatever the case may be. I did that during a stream recently, and, you know, new people joined into the stream and they were like, whoa, like, your voice is so calming, and like, I love this energy that's here. So like, there's a place for people like me, and I think I can accept that. Think lightly of yourself, and deeply of the world. I don't have to carry all the weight and all the burdens that I carry. I don't have to fundamentally change who I am. I can be vulnerable. I can be shy. I can be quiet. I can be an elephant. I don't need to be a lion all the time. I don't have to defend myself. I'm not in a boxing match. I don't have to turn into a lion and defend myself over every little miscommunication and misunderstanding that someone has about me. Because then, what do? I deconstruct and rebuild until I'm what that person wants me to be. Even if it's the complete opposite of who I am. I don't need to talk every day. I do my best, but if I don't have anything to say, I don't have anything to say. And if that makes me boring, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just boring, but sometimes I just want to exist in your presence. Like, that means the world to me. Like, hey, you're willing to give time to just sit with me. Someone that loves deeply. I'm someone that loves unapologetically. Maybe I start with using my real voice more often. And when someone combats it and it's like, you sound depressed or anything, maybe I don't change it. Maybe I choose not to change it. I don't know. I'll do my best though. I'm learning. I'm growing. So, this has been today's principle. I think there's still a lot that I need to understand about this principle, and I really thought it was going to be easy, and then I started thinking, and I was like, what does think lightly of yourself even mean? But I think my understanding would be to allow yourself to exist without needing to change for other people. But again, this is about us internally, right? So I think to think lightly of yourself is to remember that you are a being in this universe. You have a purpose, but your purpose is not greater than anyone else's. Everyone's purpose is equal. So do not put extra weight on yourself. And do not bash yourself when you feel like you've made a mistake or you've gone off the path or any number of things. Don't belittle yourself. Remember to be kind to yourself. Maybe that's what think lightly means. I don't think of it as a thought experiment. I think of it as actions that you take, decisions that you make. Those could be just you being kind to yourself, thinking lightly of yourself. So, think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. We don't occupy the universe's center. We're a part of a much larger whole. We are just one element in a vast network. And because of that, our attention naturally turns outward. So this is a call for empathy and awareness. Awareness of how our decisions affect the world around us. So think deeply of the world, for your decisions will affect how the world changes. But have empathy for yourself, for you are just a human. You are just a man. Okay. Have empathy for oneself and be sure of your decisions, for the decisions will shape the world around you. I see how these go hand in hand now. The world itself is under God, Allah, Yahweh, Yeshua, whoever that you believe in. The all, the universe, like everything is under this one above all person or deity or just the universe. Like everything in the world is under this, and you have to accept everything just the way it is. There's no point in seeking extra pleasures for their own sake. You can have wants, you can have desires. You're human. You can want something for your life. You can have dreams. But you don't necessarily have to seek pleasure for its own sake. You don't have to be like, damn, I'm kind of fucking bored right now. I'm gonna go, the only thing I can think of is like a vice, like I'm gonna go gambling because I'm bored. You're seeking pleasure for its own sake. You don't have to do that. And then principle number 3, be certain of your decisions. I'm paraphrasing, but be certain of your decisions. A half-hearted decision is worse than no decision at all. So, if it's not something you want to say hell yes to, it's probably something you should say no to, in a nutshell. And today, remember to think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. Have empathy, for you are a being that exists and is learning, but have enough care, or not care, have enough awareness to know that your decisions shape the world around you. This video is very late because, like I said, this one was a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. So those are my thoughts on that. currently. The full short film might be different, you know? By the end of everything, it might be different, but this is where I'm at with my understanding now. So, see you in the next one.